Roundup family, I'm just here hanging out with my general contractor and my boy Steve. What up?
How you doing this great Saturday morning, Chris? Hi, Roundup family.
We're a real estate roundup family. I want you to hear. So Steve employs subcontractors, and I love listening to the stories of the people that he hires. Steve, go ahead, tell them real quick.
I was sharing with Chris a story of someone that was working with me last year. Was with me probably about 6 months. So with
what was he doing?
He's an HVAC installer.
Okay.
So we've been doing a lot of new construction. So he's been on that install team for some of our builders. But I 1099 my workers at the end of the year.
For my rounduppers that don't know what a 1099 is, Steve, break that down real quickly.
Basically, it's just the individual is responsible for their taxes at the end of the year.
So you ain't taking out no taxes,
right? We don't take out the taxes like you will for a regular W-2 employer.
Yeah, we don't do that either. I ain't doing none of that foolishness.
So anyway, with this particular employee, he's been with others where they've taken the taxes out for him. He didn't have to worry about that. He came over to us, making the same pay rate. Just he has to be disciplined to put aside that money, so he'll have it at the end of the year, for whatever his tax burden may be. Anyway, come December or going into the new year, he tells me, I can't deal with it. The whole 1099 thing, I don't know if he didn't completely understand it, but he was fearful that he was going to get himself in trouble with taxes. And it may be like Chris was telling me, he's honest with himself. He's a young guy and he's not disciplined to be able to put that money aside. So anyway, I was telling Chris, we were off for the Christmas holiday break.
You gave him a break
from the 21st through the end of the year.
That is just nice of you, Steve.
Out those 2 weeks.
You let the workers off for 2 weeks.
This is without pay now. So in my experience, most time, it's the holiday season, nobody's really focused on, working. So we, typically just, take those, week and a half, 2 weeks off, so you can enjoy the holidays, your family and all that. Yes. So anyway, come the end of the year, going into the new year, he calls me and tells me that, he can't.
After being off for 2 weeks.
Right. He can't, deal with the 1099 situation. And then, he tells me, the money that he's been putting aside, that, he spent that. But he's saying it as if it was my fault. Like I spent the money or forced him to spend it.
So let me get this straight. A 1099 worker, you pay them full rate. They take out their own taxes.
Correct. Or responsible for their own taxes at the end of the year.
Tell me about this conversation that you had when he didn't want to come back.
Well, this is the other part of it. So I have a warehouse, office space, and he had left his tools there, over the holidays. He has the
storage fee free.
He has
storage fee free.
The code to the lock to get in the warehouse. So I had changed it, as I periodically do. So he was apparently going to sneak over there, get his stuff, and not maybe even tell me that, he wasn't coming back.
What?
I changed the lock. He didn't know that.
Oh, got that.
So he had to call me to say, did you change the lock? And I said, well, yeah, I changed the lock. I gave him the new code, and I just happened to be within 5 minutes of the warehouse, so I went over there to see what's going on.
You don't think he was going to take some stuff with his Steve?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Nah, he wouldn't.
I don't think so. He didn't, seem to be that tight.
Yeah.
But just more so, just kind of like when you have tenants that sneak out in the night, don't say anything.
Yeah, they go.
Right. Go. So that was just kind of, disappointing, and at the same time a little funny to me that he was going to go get his tools and not even say, look, Steve, this it's not working for me, no hard feelings, it's not working for me, I'm gonna have to find something else coming into the new year.
Oh, you telling me you had this conversation with you, he didn't just come out and tell you, he told you this because he needed to get his equipment?
Right, because
Oh,
I
you didn't tell me
basically
that.
ran up on him.
Oh, that's a different. Tell me why he was mad at you though, Steve. He had
Well,
attitude.
so when I went over to the warehouse, you know, I'm just at this point I'm just thinking, he's getting his tools. Maybe he's doing, a side job or something like that until we come back to work, the following week, which is fine. So I just happened, asking, how was your holiday break and stuff. He was kind of like crappy.
He was hot.
So, yeah, he was hot, had attitude, and he says, and then the money that I had, was putting aside for my taxes, I don't even have that.
You gave me that money, so I had to spend that money
Right,
you gave me.
Right. But it was just kind of.
He was mad at you.
Mad at me.
You gave me all this money.
But then keep in mind, though, everyone that comes on to the team, they're aware up front that, with 1090, you're getting a 1099. So, 6 months in,
you gotta know what's going on.
You have to be disciplined. But
well, for me, Steve, it took me, man, 15 years to get disciplined to put money aside. How about you?
Same thing.
To me,
and
years.
I'll even say to this day, it can be a challenge still. Being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
In different businesses, it just
putting that money away for taxes.
Putting it away for taxes, and
it ain't the easiest thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say it becomes easier after you do it a while. But
right.
Shit, man, I'm just learning how to do it, Steve. And not get mad at the system.
Right.
That daggone government. Take your money.
But
I earned this money.
That's one of the many stories that I can share. Experiences of being an entrepreneur, being in the construction industry, and as well as real estate.
Well, you know what though? I don't care what industry you're in. I think. Well, for me, I don't want to have any I don't want to do payroll taxes because I don't want any employee. Is that where you're at?
Correct.
You fall into a whole nother. Go ahead.
Over the years, the thing I've discovered that works well, not just for me, but for a lot of other HVAC contractors, especially when you're a smaller operation, is to have independent contractors or subcontractors.
1099.
A lot of times when you have quote employees, they don't have the same urgency to perform as an independent contractor would, because you're in control of how much you make or don't make. So yeah, that's that story roundup, family.
What I'm saying, Steve, a roundup. I want this first thing that the IRS auditor asked me as I walked into my audit recently was, how many employees do you have? First thing they want to know. Why? They want to know what's up with these payroll taxes. They want to know, are you paying them? Those payroll taxes, they can go back infinitely for those. Infinitely. That's going to be your Social Security and disability. They can go back to the beginning of time. So if you're out there, you're an entrepreneur or thinking about one, try not to have employee. Try to have, like Steve does, independent contractors to work for you, so you don't take their taxes out.
That's correct.
Yeah. Thanks, brother Steve. That was cool.
Okay. Anytime. Maybe I'll have another story to share. Now next. When me and Chris are hanging out.
Looking at houses. Oh, no doubt. I know it's going to be another story. It always is. I mean, it doesn't stop. Round up. Subscribe. Like the content if I've brought a little joy to your day. And what else? Oh, tell me about some of the stories you have with your subs, people that you pay, and if they want to sign those 1099s. What you want me to do with all this money? You supposed to pay my taxes for me. Crazy. Peace.